Yo, family, if I woke up tomorrow with absolutely nothing, no money, no job, let's say no connections, what would I do? I've slept in my car. I've slept in the house with no lights on, no heat. I would do a 10-day sprint to save my very first $1,500. I would cut every non-essential item that I have. I would sell anything that I can. I would pick up side gigs. I would drive for Uber. I would drop off for Instacart. Before I started investing in stocks, I invested in skills that pay me back in 12 months or less. In 2026, this is AI tech, sales, certifications, boot camps, whatever is in demand. And right now, learning AI is a great demand because they're creating self-made net worth millionaires. We tend to pass down stress and clothes and purses. I want to pass down wisdom, knowledge, money, homes, and businesses. Almost 50% of the people who watch and listen to this show every single week aren't even subscribed yet. That means half of you all are just passing by, but you're missing out on the fullness of this journey. Listen, this isn't just a YouTube show or a podcast. This is a movement to help you get out of the red, get into the black, break free from consumer debt, and start building real wealth. Not just for you, not just for your family, but what about for your children's children who possibly you will never even meet, but they'll know who you are because you left them something. Listen, every single episode is about giving you the tools, the mindset, and the community to finally experience the freedom, the peace, and the abundance you've been praying for. Come on, somebody. I want you to be able to say yes to your dreams and to stop worrying about bills and to leave a legacy that outlives you. But you can't do it alone. Better yet, you should not even be doing it alone. But the truth of the fact is, you don't have to do it alone. If you are tired of just surviving and you're ready to start thriving, hit that subscribe button right now. Don't just watch from the sidelines. I want you to join this amazing community. Let's break these chains together and build the future you deserve. Your journey to financial freedom starts with one simple step today. Just hit that subscribe button, and together we're gonna build something amazing. Here's the second step. Pay attention to today's show. Let's get to it. Yo, family, if I woke up tomorrow with absolutely nothing, no money, no job, let's say no connections, what would I do? Well, I want to talk about that today. I want to give you the exact step of how I would rebuild, how I would restructure my life, the step-by-step strategy on what I would do. Not just to survive, but to build faith, freedom, and legacy. I know what it's like to start from zero. I've been broke. I've slept in my car. I've slept in the house with no lights on, no heat. I know what it's like to feel like you are behind, like you're stuck, like you've never had the true freedom. Or let's even say this, like you're never going to get ahead. But let me tell you, starting from scratch isn't a curse. It's honestly a clean slate, right? So you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain if you work the right strategy. That's the key, is you have to work the right strategy. And you have to remind yourself that you're not too far gone, that you're not too late, and that you're just one decision away from a good new story. So today's show was going to be that. How do we write the new story, no matter where you are? And if this is you, you're saying, "Ayo, I need to write a new story, and I'm ready to write a new story." Put "I'm ready" inside the comments if you're really ready to start building something new this year in 2026. I want to get straight to it because I'm excited about this particular episode today. Here's the very first thing I would do. The very first thing that I would do. I will get honest about where I currently stand right now. I would write down every single dollar coming in and every single dollar going out. I would even write down, what do I actually own? What does Anthony Bernard O'Neill Jr. own? And then I got to ask myself the same question. Okay, what do I owe? Who do I owe? How much do I owe them? You have to be very, very honest with yourself. Because if you're going to change 2026, you cannot lie to yourself, because you'll never see true change. You see, according to a 2025 Lending Club report, 62% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And most of those individuals do not know their real numbers. So here's the actionable things I would do up until the very first thing is I would list my income. This is after taxes. I would list all of my expenses, every single bill, every single subscription, every single habit. And I'm going to go here in a respectful way. Every single OnlyFans subscription that you have, every unhealthy thing that is taking your money, do not hold it back. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to. And I want to pause right there, because I've had some people come to me, and I would never reveal the name, who they are, or even hint to who they are. But I've had a lot of people come to me to look at their budget, and then they'll give me a budget, and then I'll tell them right there on the spot, I need to see the last 3 months of your bank statements. I'll open up the bank statements, and I will see some adult content on there. I would see some not adult content, but adult outings, if that makes sense, on there. But it's not on your budget. You see, we can't change our money if we're not being honest and have a true assessment of where we are. So once you list your expenses, I need you to list all of your assets. What do you own? Do you own a home? Do you own your car? Right? What do you own? Then after that, you already know you know what's next. You're going to list your liabilities. What do you owe? This is the starting line. Some of you, if you write down truly this thing on a sheet of paper, you're going to have a little bit of shame and a little bit of guilt. But I want to be honest with you. You should not have it. You should not feel it. You should feel truth. You can feel, okay, I'm being honest with myself. This doesn't need to be public. This is for me, or for me and my spouse, and for maybe me and my money coach or financial advisor. But outside of that, this is our true assessment. Because here's what I want to tell you right now. You can't fix what you do not face. You cannot fix what you do not face. I'm going to say that one more time, because I need y'all to hear me. You cannot fix what you do not face. Here's step two. I would reset my mind. Yeah. Well, we going to go there today, y'all. If I'm broke, if I'm starting from scratch, if I've made a lot of mistakes last year, I'm resetting how I think and process things mentally. I'm getting on my knees and I'm praying for vision, not just provision. I'm going to start feeding my mind every single day with faith, with wisdom, and with stories of people who have overcome. Every single day, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to read God's word, and then I'm going to read a chapter from a book that's talking about finance, that's talking about how to change the mindset to attract wealth. I'm going to read what the word of God is saying. As a matter of fact, I have a lot of Bible studies around money that I really want you to do and subscribe to these. You can literally, for 5 minutes, it'll take you 5 minutes to read through the Bible study. I'm going to put a link inside of today's show notes on how you can get our Bible studies on the Bible app. As a matter of fact, just go to anthonyoneal.com/Bible studies. Again, that is anthonyoneal.com/Bible studies. because I want to help you reprogram your mind. In fact, a 2024 Pew study found that people who regularly consume positive educational content are 2 times more likely to make lasting financial changes. You cannot change your money if you do not change your mindset. So here are some actionable things I want you to do. If you're saying, Anthony, you're right, I got to change my mind around money. Actually, I got to just overall improve how I think and process things. Here's the very first thing here you got to do. You got to cut out negativity. You got to cut out negativity. And you need to limit yourself on social media. Y'all, I unsubscribed. I unfollowed Shade Room. I unfollowed World Star. I unfollowed a lot of organizations and people that wasn't feeding my mind where I needed to go. Check this out, family. Did you know that nearly 4 in 10 Americans still have zero money invested in the stock market? That's a gap where wealth is built or missed. If you're just saving, you're falling behind because the markets average close to about a 10% a year for a century, while your savings account is barely keeping up with inflation. I want to make this plain. If you wait just 5 years to start investing, you could lose out on hundreds of thousands of dollars in future wealth. That's not hype, that's real math. The wealthiest 10% of Americans now own over 90% of all stocks because they started and they stayed consistent. But here's the thing, you don't need to be rich to honestly get inside of the investing game. With platforms like SoFi Invest, Public, and Moomoo, you can open an account today, start with as little as $1, literally, and buy fractional shares of the same assets that have built generational wealth for millions. No commissions, 100% no excuses on your end. Listen, I need you to hear me clearly. Stop sitting on the sidelines. Go to anthonyoneal.com/invest right now to compare the top investing platforms and open your first investing account today. Your future self and your children's children will thank you for taking action right now. We have to start building wealth, not just watching others get rich. Do not let another year go by. As a matter of fact, don't let another day go by. Take the first step, family. Visit anthonyoneal.com/invest. Let's get to work. Let's start investing ASAP. Let's get back to the show. And I started consuming more faith-filled, wealth-building voices. I started reading more books like Think and Grow Rich, like the Richest Man in Babylon, and the Bible's #1 wealth-building book, which is Proverbs, in my personal opinion. I need you to pick up some of these books. I need you to pick up something that's going to help you change your mindset and get you thinking differently about money. Because here's what I have learned. I started wondering, why am I thinking like this? Why do I get upset? Why do I get depressed? Why do I get so overwhelmed and stressed? It's because I became what I was consuming. I became what I was consuming. So family, you will become what you consume. So you have to protect your mind. You got to start really stepping back and saying, wait. Why am I upset with my life when this is what I consume? If I'm always consuming he say, she say gossip, if I'm always consuming what Shade Room, what World Star, what Spiritual Word, what all these people are doing, and not saying that those are bad outlets. I'm not saying that at all. But if I'm always consuming something that is not helping me hit my goals, why am I upset that I'm not hitting my goals? Here's something what I need you to do today. I want you to pick out a book, a podcast that will change your mindset. I really want you to identify, okay, what is one thing that I'm going to consume over the next 90 days that can help change my mind? Here's the next thing I would do. Number 3. I would get something bigger, a reason, a why that is bigger than money. If Darius Daniels said this before in a sermon years ago, that if your why doesn't make you cry, then the cost will make you cry. And that hit me. I had to get something bigger and deeper than just, I want a lot of money. I needed a reason much bigger and deeper than money. And for me, it's about legacy. For me, it's about, I look at my nephews, my niece, my two cousins who I've adopted. When I think about God blessing me with children, I don't, and I say this respectfully, I don't want to be my parents to them. My parents gave me the best and my siblings the best that they could. God has exposed myself and our siblings to so much more than what my parents were exposed to. I don't want my kids struggling and trying to make it happen. I want my kids to grow up with a little bit of privilege. I want my children's children to know my name. According to a 2025 Black Wealth Data Center report, Black families are 5 times less likely to inherit wealth than white families. And when I think about that, I'm going to have Black children with a Black wife. I have Black nephews and nieces. I have 2 beautiful, mature, grown Black daughters who are my cousins. I want to set them up to win. And when I think about that, I get emotional. I get a little teary-eyed because that gets me more excited than buying my dream car. Um, 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 Knowing that I'm building something for my children who I will possibly never ever meet, knowing that the decisions that I'm making today, the mental change that I'm making today will impact them 100 years from now, that gets me more excited that when I'm in heaven, I'll be able to smile and look down at my great grandchildren who I've never met, but they know who I am. Because at 41, at 42 years old, I was thinking about them. I want you to write down your why. And when you write it down, I want you to pray on it. And when you pray on it, ask God to remind you every single day your why and to give you the tools, to give you the wisdom, and to give you the knowledge on how to fulfill your why. But the key thing to this why is it has to be bigger than you. When I was living in my car, my why was super simple. It wasn't deep though. My why was I wanted to break the cycle. I wanted my future family to know financial freedom. I want my future family to know what it is to be wealthy. I want them to know what it feels like to have options, not just survival. Not just survival. Here's step number 4. I would do a 10-day sprint to save my very first $1,500. I will cut every non-essential item that I have. I would sell anything that I can. I would pick up side gigs. I would drive for Uber. I would drop off for Instacart. And I would get the first buffer in a high yield savings account. Now, Anthony, why $1,500? Don't you normally say in your previous videos and inside, your course you teach, set aside 1 month? Absolutely. But here's a fact. If I'm started from scratch, 57% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency. So for me, I want to get to that because I don't want to be the average American. So for 2 weeks, for 14 days, I'm going hard to put $1,500 inside my account, period. Because this is not about, it's not about getting rich. It's not about, I got a lot of money in the account. No. It's about building margin and peace. It's about, I need to put money in there and create a small foundation so that way when life hits, I have something to give me a little bit of a buffer. A little bit of buffer. Which leads me over to step number 5. If I had consumer debt, I'm using a debt snowball. I'm listing every single debt, smallest to largest. I'm paying the minimums on all but the smallest, and I'm gonna attack the one with every single thing that I got. I'm going to keep the $1,500 in there, and if you put a 1 month net pay inside your high yield savings, I'm going to keep that money in there, but I'm going to keep the side gigs and put that towards my debt snowball. Here's an interesting fact that Experian came out with last year, that the average American household carries almost $8,000 in credit card debt. With the average interest rate being 22%, can you do the math on that? Can you imagine where your money is going? I remember my very first credit card. I started with $500. I spent $150 on 100flowers.com, $150 on Red Lobster, then $200 at a Dooney and Burke store. Did not pay it off because I didn't have a job. That $500 turned into $1,200, and that was the very first credit card I had to put inside of my debt snowball. I worked the debt snowball, and I got out of debt within a matter of 36 months. 36 months. But when I got out of debt, the very next thing that I did, which is step number 6, I invested in skills that pay me back. Before I started investing in stocks, I invested in skills that pay me back in 12 months or less. In 2026, this is AI tech sales, certifications, boot camps, whatever is in demand. And right now, learning AI is a great demand because they're creating self-made net worth millionaires. In fact, the Bureau of Labor Statistics projects that tech and AI and healthcare certifications will be among the fastest growing, highest paying fields through 2030. So if you really want to build wealth, if you really want to change where you're going in 2026, if you have a decent job, why not get a boot camp tech certificate inside of AI? Why not get something that you could do at home, either do it as a second job or build a small business on it? As a matter of fact, check out this commercial that's talking about careers and how you can get into an AI boot camp today and get a brand new job in the next 12 months paying you 6 figures. Check this out. All right, fam, let me keep it real with you for a quick minute here. Most career change programs, they promise you the world, then they leave you hanging. But this QA boot camp I'm about to tell you about, I'm gonna be real with you up front. It's going to take about 20 weeks of hard work, studying after your day job, pushing through when you want to quit. But this is the fastest, most legit path I found to go from whatever you're making now to $85,000 plus working from home in tech. 100% no coding required. You see, Careerist has over 1,300 graduates now working for companies like Google, Apple, Amazon, and even Disney. Their program is ranked #1 by Course Report. And here's what I love. They don't just train you and leave you. They coach you until you actually get a job. You see, one of my friends, Mike, went from working 90 hours a week, making $63,000 a year, to making $98,000 plus in commission working from home. Sarah, a single mom, went from retail to $95,000 a year as a QA supervisor. These are not special people. They just made a decision to stick to it for 20 weeks, and it changed their life. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics projects that there will be a 25% growth in QA jobs by 2032. And companies are in desperate need of QA professionals because when their system goes down, they lose millions. So if you're tired of being underpaid and you want a recession-proof career that lets you work from anywhere, not just home, but even on the beach, do not wait. Every day you delay is another day someone else is getting the training you need. I want you to visit anthonyoneal.com/QA. Again, that is anthonyoneal.com/QA to sign up today. It's going to change your life. I promise you. So here's the action step of what I need you to do. Will this skill pay for itself in a year? If yes, go for it, like AI. If not, I really need you to think twice. Prime example, for AI automations, a 25-year-old paid about $3,500 for an AI boot camp. His very first contract outside of boot camp was me, and I was paying him $10,000 a month. That is a 5-time return, close to 5 times of a return on his investment. That's crazy. Here's step number 7. Increase income, side hustles, and even main hustles. I would find the highest value skill I have and sell it. Freelance, side hustle, whatever it takes. The goal is to widen the gap between income and expenses. 43% of Americans have side hustles in 2025, right? The average person made an extra $3,500 a year. So you can get on apps like Fiverr, Upwork, you name it, and put your freelance up there. You can offer services in demand, writing, design, tutoring, graphic designing, delivery. You can really get effective. And let's say, for an example, you get this side gig. Well, here's what you do. Here's what I want you to do. Put 75% back into the business and put 25% of that savings into your savings and investment account. Now, why 75% back into the business? Because if it's a small business, you need money to fund the business so it can grow. I don't want you going into your savings account, checking account to do that. So put 75% of it back into the business for the first year, 25% into your savings and or investments. And after the first year, now it all becomes profit because your income should have went up because you invested back into it. Do not be afraid to start small. Every extra dollar is a seed for your future. Which leads me to step number 8. Man, I would solely build a community and accountability group. Doing it alone in 2026 is for the birds. I need you to find an accountability partner, someone that can hold you accountable to what you said you want to do, so they can hold you accountable to your why and let you know, you're not doing what you said you wanted to do. Get involved with a church family. Find you a mentor. Join a online community that will pray with you, check in on you, and celebrate your wins. Because here's an interesting fact that I think everyone needs to know, that people with accountability partners are 65% more likely to achieve their goals. Your accountability partner should see if you're posting a bunch of garbage. Hey man, what are you doing? Hey sis, what are you doing? If you're out here gossiping about people and calling them about what you saw this person wear or what you think this person should have said or did, they should be able to check you like, hey, don't call me with that. You worried about them, but what are you doing for yourself? I need you in 2026. Join a church or a faith-based group. Find a mentor or an accountability partner and check in with them weekly. Because honestly, people in my circle, we all are rising together. Here's step 9. You got to start investing. Once you're consumer debt free and you have an emergency fund, I would start investing automatically. Even if it's just $5 a week, I would use index funds, automate it, and let time do the work. Let time do the work. The S&P 500 has averaged about a 10% annual return over the last 90 years. So for me, if I got $5 or $10, I'm putting it into a place that's going to yield me a good return. Has to. Here's the last step. Tithe and give. I told you all, I believe that tithing and giving above my means is the key ingredient to building wealth. Some people argue with me online and put in the comment section, oh, tithe is of the Old Testament and tithing is not required. Huh. Here's what I have learned. Let me break it down simple. It was required for me to cut the grass on Saturdays. It was required for me to keep my room clean when I was a kid. One day I came home and I saw that the grass was getting high. And I said, yo, I'm going to go cut the grass. And that wasn't required. My dad came home and he saw it and he said, thank you. Later on that week, I did something else that wasn't required. And I think I've shared this story before, but I think it works here again. That weekend, my dad took, about 20, 30 bucks out of his pocket and turned around and gave it to me in the back of the car. That time I'm 14, 15 years old, and it was the dopest thing ever. And I said, Dad, what's this for? He said, because you did something without me having to tell you to do something. And I think that's what tithe and offerings does for me. It is a requirement for me because I want God to know that he can trust me with more. I don't want to just take from God and be like, oh man, thanks. And then not really show him that I'm grateful and that I'm thankful. And I mean this, man. And this is where we're going to end at today. If you're starting over, start with God at the head. Start with God as your pilot, not your co-pilot. Start with God being your navigator, your navigation. Start with God knowing that he can trust you with more. I never want God to believe that he can't trust me. So the more I get, the more I give, the more I tithe, the more I'm sowing into the kingdom, because I want God to keep on giving it. So y'all can keep coming for me and attacking me and saying, oh my gosh, tithe is not mandatory. Tithe is not a requirement because it's Old Testament. We're in the New Testament. We're in grace. And I believe that. I don't believe that tithe is a hell or heaven situation. I just believe that tithing produces a level of favor on my life and on my company's life that nothing else can produce for me. And I want that favor on my company. I want that favor on my team and their families and even their companies. And I want that favor on my life and my family's life. So if you are starting over, well, this is the last thing I talked about. This should be the very first thing. The very, very, very first thing that you do. Because here's the truth. When we tithe and God blesses us with more and we're doing things decently and in order, it puts us in a good position to build a legacy for our children. And for me, that's the ultimate goal. Is that when I am gone, what am I leaving behind? And how much am I leaving behind? I'm tired of seeing my white counterparts have a plan of legacy, and we don't. We tend to pass down stress and clothes and purses. I want to pass down wisdom, knowledge, money, homes, and businesses. That's what I would do to start over, y'all. That's exactly what I would do if I was starting over in the year 2026. Yo, it's your boy Anthony O'Neal. Hopefully this blessed you. Let me know in the comment section if this blessed you. I'll see you soon. Peace out.